So here's another situation out of Franciscan Health Crown Point. Here's another Black mother arrived in labor in clear distress. She's in a wheelchair, crying, breathing through contractions, and visibly in pain. And the video shows she's in active labor, but instead, again, of monitoring her, managing her pain, or reassessing her, staff discharged her. They told her she wasn't far enough along. 8 minutes after leaving the building, according to her husband and the video, she gave birth in the car. 8 minutes. That alone tells you she was not stable for discharge. Labor doesn't suddenly turn on in the parking lot. She was already in it when she was inside that hospital.
Getting kicked out of the hospital in active labor for being Black, and her husband having to deliver their baby on the side of the road. This happened in Crown Point, Indiana, where Mercedes Wells arrived in clear distress after hours of strong contractions. Staff focused only on her dilation number, decided she wasn't progressing, and discharged her. They did not track her contractions, did not reassess her pain, and did not listen when she said something was wrong. 8 minutes after being forced out, her labor collapsed into crisis. Her husband pulled over their truck as the baby crowned, delivering their child on the roadside while Mercedes screamed through pain that should never have been managed alone. They then drove 30 more minutes to another hospital because the first one refused to treat her. This is not a rare failure. Black women are repeatedly dismissed during pregnancy and birth, and the consequences are often fatal. Labor is not measured by dilation alone. If a woman gives birth within minutes of discharge, her contractions were clearly close and strong. The hospital missed what should have been obvious.
Everything that you've heard is true. Black women, in particular, struggle in a way that no other people can in America, with systemic racism, biases, hatred, you name it. And I'm a white girl coming to you, and a lot of y'all are gonna say that I'm part of the problem, and I've read that. Why is no one speaking out? Why is no one sticking up?
Doctors and nurses are not taking Black women seriously, and they're not treating them in a proper manner, especially the expectant Black moms. And the expectant Black moms are likely to lose their lives more than the expectant white moms. Like, for instance, there is this incident which happened again in Indiana, whereby a Black mom who was in active labor was discharged with a claim that she was not in active labor. Then 8 minutes later, she delivered her baby by the roadside in a truck with the help of her husband. And a few days ago, there was also another incident which happened in Dallas Regional Medical Center, whereby a Black woman was neglected by a nurse, and she was truly in active labor, of which she gave birth to her son 12 minutes after the incident. So if we are not careful enough, we are going to lose a lot of Black women due to the negligence of some doctors and nurses. And this issue needs to be talked about a lot. So guys, welcome back to Afrojudy's channel. I really appreciate your massive love and support. Let's dive in straight to the episode, and let's get the reaction of the people, what they had to say about this incident, and let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. So let's unpack this episode together.
If you are someone who takes care of human beings in a healthcare environment, I need you to listen the hell up. I just watched another video of a Black woman being dismissed in active labor and having a baby 8 minutes later. It is disgusting to watch, but finally people are paying attention. This is an article that was written 2.5 years ago. I talked about how if you are a nurse who says shit like, I'm colorblind, I don't see color, I treat all my patients equally, that you are part of the problem. You are actively contributing to harm, because your passive silence is active violence. So you might not be the nurse that does the side eye to a laboring Black woman, but you won't be the person to speak up when something is wrong. You'll be the nurse just following doctor's orders, just pushing the patient to the car. But if you are the kind of nurse who cannot recognize that a patient's skin color, one of the most obvious things about them, puts them at a 3 times greater risk of death, What are we doing? I'm going to explain to you why equality should never be a goal in healthcare. Our goal should be equity. I'm going to use a photo that's often used to explain this, but I'm going to explain why it doesn't work on our scenario and give you a better example. So this is what equity means, okay? We're not giving everyone the exact same thing, because giving everyone the exact same thing will still end with people having bad outcomes. We have to recognize the specific needs of our patient and give them exactly what they need to be successful, or to live, or to not be traumatized when they come into a hospital. Here's why this doesn't work when we're talking about Black women. This puts the problem or the onus within the body of that person. So I do presentations for nurses and talk about the importance of speaking up when it might feel scary to protect our patients from birth trauma, harm, or death. And in this presentation, I made this graphic, which shows two equally heighted women in two different environments in the same place. This woman's ancestors were enslaved women who were experimented on by a monster named James Marion Sims and called it gynecology, given procedures without anesthesia because they thought Black women could not feel pain. Even in my nursing books, in the culture section, it talked about how Black women have a higher pain tolerance. In order to improve outcomes for this patient, we have to either repair the ground underneath her or move her to a safer location. We have to change her environment. And when it comes to birth, there's a lot of well-meaning advocates who say, this is why you should have a home birth. No, that should never have to be the answer. We have to make birthing in a hospital while Black safer. And it starts by treating your Black patients differently. Stop being personally offended if they don't inherently trust you because you're wearing a badge and scrubs, because they've likely experienced mistreatment from someone who looks an awful lot like you. It's why my 9-year-old doesn't fuck with bees. He got stung by a bee, and even though there are going to be millions of bees who don't sting him, he will never trust a bee. And I don't blame him, because every bee has the opportunity to hurt him. We know that Black women are less likely to be listened to, so knowing that, how would you approach a patient who you knew was at a higher risk of not being listened to? Would you pull up a stool and hang on every word she says? Would you make a promise to listen to her? Would you echo her wants and desires louder to the other people on the care team? Would you act immediately if she says something is wrong? Or would you brush it off and say you're fine? But most importantly, are you willing to speak up against your coworkers, against people you may consider to be your friends, when something is not right? If even half of the healthcare workers in this country made a pact to never allow this type of behavior to exist in our orbit, we could make things better. But it counts on you holding up your end of the deal, to treat your Black patients differently, to never be silent in the face of injustice, and to always be on the lookout for ways that you can help your patients feel heard.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm a Dallas Regional Medical Center ER nurse, and I'm frequently in triage, and I want to open my heart and be vulnerable with all of you, because I, along with you, came across the viral video scrolling on TikTok on my day off, and was appalled. And usually I see these videos and I'm appalled, and it's across the country or, somewhere else. But it was my ER, where I work. And our hospital's tiny. We're a community hospital. We serve the underprivileged, we serve the poor, we serve people without insurance, mostly on Medicaid, Medicare. And I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I don't have answers for you. You guys are going to want so many things that I cannot give you. And by making this video, I'm going on a limb because I could lose my job, and I don't want to lose my job. But I want to share with you a few things, so please bear with me. Everything that you've heard is true. Black women, in particular, struggle in a way that no other people can in America, with systemic racism, biases, hatred, you name it. And I'm a white girl coming to you, And a lot of y'all are going to say that I'm part of the problem. And I've read that. Why is no one speaking out? Why is no one sticking up? Why is no one saying this nurse should be fired? There's a lot of things that I want to say and I cannot. Please understand, I have a job. I am a single mom of 4 kids. I don't get help. I raise them on my own. I'm a mom that has been on SNAP most of my life. I've gotten Medicaid. I barely make enough money to pay my bills as a nurse. It's expensive out there. But you know what? None of my struggles, none of them compare to what a black woman has to go through in our country because of the color of her skin. Racism isn't just, oh, it's the color of your skin, it's everything. It's not just, oh, look at that person, like, oh, she's ghetto, she's black. It's not just that. Y'all struggle. You struggle in a way that I can't understand. And to watch that video in my own ER where we serve people that are there on their worst day is horrible. It's so hurtful because I love my patients and there are so many of us nurses that are just in shock. We can't believe that this would happen. But at the same time, we're not surprised because there's issues. And I'm sure it's at every hospital. I've worked at many hospitals. I've been a nurse a long time. And I'm sorry, I have to be careful what I say. But I want you to know that there are so many good nurses out there. And we failed. That night shift on that day with that nurse failed. I'm a day shifter, but I also work triage. Primarily, half my shifts are in triage. And I'm going to just tell you very quickly. She should have never been rejected from the ambulance bay. We take people all the time through the ambulance bay, even though it's for ambulances, but it's an emergency room. But I don't even know who was charged. The charge could at least laid eyes on the car in front of and just, I don't know. And if she had determined, maybe in the charge nurse's world, again, I don't know who it was. I didn't hardly work this week. TNCC, Trauma Nurse Core Curriculum. Across the room observation. Should have been brought in. At the very least, if her training had failed and she said, oh no, she can go through the front. Hey, can we please get a wheelchair to the ambulance or the emergency room entrance? That woman's mother shouldn't have had to go searching for a freaking wheelchair. Security shouldn't have had to go out there. And as a triage nurse, I know that the second that she stepped into that ER, that noise was heard. I'm sorry, my kid just called me. I know that noise was heard. I know the laboring sounds, the screams, they were heard. And I know registration went and told triage. We've got an issue out here. There's a laboring patient. She should have been brought back. She should have been immediately brought back, hooked up to vitals. Those questions should have been answered. What's your G's and P's? How many times have you been pregnant? Have you had any miscarriages? Have you had C-sections? What's going on? We don't get, just because she was I heard she was supposed to be induced through the videos, that she had been turned. Just because we didn't have her registered and we didn't have an armband didn't mean that we couldn't get all that information and write it down on a pen and paper like old school days. We could have been on the phone with L&D. I've got this doctor's patient in. What's going on? Do we have a bed? So many missed opportunities. And there's no excuses for it. None. I'm trying to be very careful with what I say, and I hope that this comes across to y'all because I love my job. I love what I do. I love who I take care of. I have dedicated my life to being a nurse. I work 12, 13-hour days. Some days I don't pee, some days I don't eat because I'm taking care of others, and then I come home and I take care of 4 kids. I've been a single mom for 20 years. I've done it by myself. I know what it's like to swipe an EBT card and wonder if you're being judged because you've got that yellow Texas EBT card and someone's going to see. What it's like to check in and wonder, am I going to be judged because I've got Medicaid? Am I going to get the care? I've delivered 4 children on Medicaid, thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to get the same care because I know that I'm on Medicaid? And you feel like garbage. I know what that feels like. I've delivered at Parkland because that was the only place that I could deliver. I want you all to know that your rage is heard, your pain is felt. We are hurting with you. There are nurses that I work with, so many good nurses that have given their careers, they have studied, they have paid money to do what we do, that are hurting watching that this is happening in our hospital when we're already, like I said, just a tiny little sliver of a hospital, barely functioning, bare bones, doing the best that we can with a broken administration of a wider issue of failing healthcare in our country, on top of systemic racism that prejudices against people that are minorities or need help, food stamps, Medicaid, and we feel you, we hear you. So please, if anything that you take away from this, we are not all that nurse. We are angry with you. And I'm sorry that this was so long, and I hope that y'all were able to get something out of this. I hope that we can heal from this. Is that fair to say? I've been sitting in my car for an hour trying to make this video, ignoring my children, because I have to stick up. I have to say something. I have 30 seconds left. I can't answer your questions. I don't know anything. All I can tell you is that your voices have been heard. Change is going to happen. I know it will. I don't know if it's happening yet, but it's going to happen. And that we will continue. The good ones of us will continue to advocate. We will not stop caring. We will still hold your hand, and we will cry with you on your worst day.
This is becoming like a trend right now, and we are likely to lose a lot of Black women, especially the expectant Black women, due to the negligence of some doctors and nurses. Or perhaps these people always think that Black women don't feel pain. They feel pain, and in fact, labor pain is not just a pain, it is a massive pain, and sometimes you can't even withstand it. So when an expectant mom goes to the hospital and tells you that she is in active labor, like she tells you that the contraction are this time or these seconds apart, you should listen to that woman, not only checking how far she has dilated, you should listen to the expectant mom because they know whatever they are telling you. So this woman, she was actually in active labor, because you can't tell me that the hospital discharged her claiming that she was not in active labor because they checked how far she dilated. Then 8 minutes later, she delivered her baby by the roadside. Then they had to drive 30 minutes away to another hospital, because if they remember so well whatever happened in that hospital, can you even carry your food to that hospital again? No. And this is the best time that they should be suing that hospital. And again, I read some of the comments that in Indiana it is so hard to sue an hospital unless it was a death case, is when you can sue that hospital. So I don't know how true that information is. And again, plus the incidents which happened last week in Dallas Regional Medical Center. Some people have been spreading some information that the nurse got fired. She has not yet been fired. neither her license has been revoked. Everything is still there. So I don't know how the government of the United States is working, but this issue needs to be talked about, because the rate at which they are neglecting the black women, it is so alarming. Then again, some people are suggesting that they should be considering the home birth. I know that is another option, but if you are a nurse, don't forget your oath. You signed an oath that you are going to protect the human lives regardless of their race. And now, the rate at which they are neglecting the expectant black moms at the hospital, it is not making sense at all. And I love the fact that majority of these palm colored nurses, they are coming out and even criticizing their very own nurses, because they know exactly what they were taught at school, and how they should be taking care of human lives. This is a shame right now, because whatever the black women are experiencing in the United States, it is so heartbreaking. Imagine watching a fellow expectant mom being neglected by a nurse, and maybe at that particular time you are in your third trimester, heavily pregnant. You might go into panic attack, because you never know if it's going to happen to you, or you're going to be treated in a good way. Because following the testimonies of the black women and some of the white women online, how they were treated, it obviously tells you that there is something wrong with the American healthcare system. There is a special way of how they treat the black women, the brown women, and the white women. They don't get treated the same way. Like during the time of our ancestors, when the black women could be operated without being given the anesthesia, they had to bear all that pain. Is it the same thing that they want to do to the black women in the United States right now? Because honestly, it is so heartbreaking to watch the way the black women are suffering in the United States. And yet, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of nurses, there are a lot of doctors who can stand by them and help them. And in fact, this is the best time that the world should unite and stand up for black women, because they have suffered a lot. And they're suffering under people's watch, and there is no one to stand up for them. There are also some of the black women, especially those who want to be child free. They are coming out online. Imagine after all these things happening, only to start criticizing these black women by saying that they are using their wombs as buses. That one coming from a woman to another woman. You see how some people are so heartless, and they don't care whether you are in pain or not. They just like seeing you suffering. And I don't know where this kindness for woman to woman went to. You should be standing by your fellow woman. You should be helping them. And if the nurse at Dallas Regional Hospital, she never even looked back to check how that woman was. She was just busy on the computer doing her things, asking her random questions. It is showing how some of these women, they are so heartless, and they don't even care whatever is going to happen to you in the next few minutes. Women, we need we need to be good to each other. Whether you want to be childless or not, if you see a fellow woman suffering, especially when giving birth or in any other situation, you need to stand up for that woman, because you are also a woman. You don't know whatever will happen to you tomorrow. So I don't know whether this hospital is going to be sued or not. If the board of nurses is so concerned about the people's lives, this is the best time that the woman could have been fired, that nurse could have been fired, plus her license getting terminated, because whatever she did to that woman in active labor, it was a total negligence. And you are a nurse who signed an oath that you are going to protect the human lives. If working at the hospital is not good enough for you, then why did you pursue that career to go and save the human lives? Why didn't you pursue another career, maybe computer science, to go and sit at your computer the way she was sitting right there? working on the computer instead of taking care of the other woman in labor. So guys, let me know what you think about it, because I'm just feeling so heartbroken watching the way Black women are suffering, and it is happening across the globe. If people can start standing up for Black women, then it can be good. They can listen to the voices of the Black women. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I honestly appreciate your massive love and support. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. Until next time, remember to pray for Black women and take good care of yourselves.